Hello, my name is Peter Sommer, and I'm the professor of saxophone here at Colorado State University, and I'm happy to provide some advice, guidance, and examples of this year's Colorado All-State Band audition excerpts. For excerpt number 1, which is the Andante on page 8 from the selected studies, a couple things I would watch out for. The first is, since this is in D minor, that's a troublesome key for the saxophone because our middle Ds are sharp, our high Ds, palm keys, are often sharp, and our low D is often flat. So this can be a challenge for tuning when you're learning this etude. I would practice a lot with drones. Set your drone on, if it's set to concert pitch, to concert F, which will be RD on the alto saxophone. If you're playing a B flat instrument, you'd want to set it to concert C. And then practice playing along with that, really listening especially to the roots, but also to the fifths. Those are pretty easy notes to hear if they're in tune or out of tune with a drone. And then the other thing I would watch out for in this etude, this is a little more specific, but in the second line, towards the end of the second line, there's some lines that descend with a decrescendo or diminuendo, followed by a big leap up with an accent. And this is a little counterintuitive. We naturally want to kind of drive towards those big leaps and accents because that's our kind of more natural way of phrasing. Since this works against that, we have to really plan ahead for it. And what I do is really think of, as that line comes down, when it comes to the end of the line, it's almost like that line is going to have a little bit of a stop or a gap at the end of it in terms of sound, and then leap up, so I'm not tempted to kind of push all the way through. So something like... And even playing that right there, it's very tempting for me to want to push through the D to get up to the high D. That is certainly the easier way to do it. But in this case, since the music's indicating otherwise, we want to make sure we practice that. Beyond that, make sure you're counting eighth notes accurately and practice with a metronome. And here's an example of excerpt number 1. For excerpt number 2, the Allegro on page 18 of selected studies, the challenge here is playing all these notes, all these articulations, without making a lot of errors and while maintaining strict time and a good tempo. So I would start by practicing with a metronome at a tempo where we have a lot of control, where you feel very confident about playing all the way through the excerpt or through whatever chunk you're working on that particular time. Don't push on the metronome or don't speed up the metronome until you feel very confident about what you're doing. Otherwise, even if you get the etude right, even if you play all the right notes, it's going to have a kind of a forced quality to it. And then I want to provide one small specific saxophone example that might be helpful here. And this is on the diminished pattern. It's about 5 lines up from the bottom. And it's a long diminished arpeggio that resets itself over again. And at the very end of that arpeggio, you have to play a high F, and then you have to jump all the way down to a low C. And this is a little challenging on the saxophone. This will be much easier if you can play the high F with your front F, with this one, the fingering where you play this little teardrop key plus your A key, or +2. If you can play the F with that, instead of this, I mean, either one is a good F, but if you can play it with that front key, it makes it much easier to leap down to the low C because your hands are already in position to do that. It's still a challenging passage, but it'll be much easier if you can get that under your fingers. And here's an example of excerpt number 2. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Again, my name is Peter Sommer from here at Colorado State University. If there's anything I can do to help you, or if you have any further questions, please just let me know. In the meantime, I wish you best of luck on all your All-State Band auditions. Thanks so much.